might this be? Oh, this is BX.
How are you going to send me a message and I'm already in the room?
Because I sent it to you, and then I'm all like, oh, she might not get it because there's a delay. So then I went to Instagram and send it to you just because I'm all like, she might not know I'm
Oh,
live right
okay.
now.
No problem. Is Easy coming?
Yeah, she should. She should
Okay.
be. Let's see.
I'll switch it when she gets up here. I see your screen pause. So you're talking to me on pause. I don't know if anybody else sees a pause screen, but I see a pause screen.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I was sending her the text.
No
I was
problem.
sending her the text because if they're gonna be pulling up delays or whatever the case is, then I'm gonna do that. We're not gonna be on too long because I got to be up in the morning, do stuff early. So I just want to get this out the way. I want to get the opinions of people. Now, I'm pretty sure by now everybody has seen the situation where Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, the two actors and sinners, they were given an award at the BAFTA Awards. They were given a BAFTA award. And let me be abundantly clear, the only reason anybody knew about the BAFTA Awards, I didn't know, I'm not an award show person, but I didn't know anything really about the BAFTA Awards. The only reason this is trending is because Sinners is such a hot movie. And because Ryan Coogler, shout out to Ryan Coogler, got an award for, I think, like best director or something of the sort. So he got some award at the BAFTA Awards, right? So that's the only reason anybody knows about the movie, okay? That's the only reason. I'm gonna let people up just so we can get stuff started. Y'all can get comfortable, but stay on your mic while I do the monologue, okay? So Michael B. Jordan, they're given an award, and you have somebody named John Davidson. John Davidson, he shouts, he screams the N-word. I'm talking about ER and everything. He screams the N-word, and then he screams the B word. Or he didn't. It's interesting because he screams the N-word. You hear that very loud and clear, ER and everything. And then you kind of have a difficulty hearing the B word that he says right after that. Okay. And it took a while for him to apologize, but I guess he came out with a statement. A lot of people are saying TMZ has said it. I've seen Yahoo News and all of that, saying that, oh, he can't help himself because he has Tourette's, which I've done some research to see if he really had Tourette's or he just had Tourette's that night. Apparently he does have Tourette's. Okay. And apparently he was saying stuff like that. He was saying the N-word multiple times because of his Tourette's. And a lot of people saying that we can't bash him because it was an accident. Jamie Foxx has come out and said that he doesn't think it's an accident. I made it abundantly clear before, immediately, I don't think that's an accident. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that it was an accident. I'm not buying that he did it on accident. Everything lined up to me too perfectly for it to be an accident to me. Everything lined up too perfectly. Here's how I know that it wasn't. Okay. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, Will Smith, who was sitting in the front row, he had to, when he was like, keep my wife's name out your mouth and all that. Do you see, and the camera turned to Will Smith, do you see how loudly, you can kind of see in his face how loudly he had to yell in order for Chris Rock to hear it all the way up on stage? All right. From the front row, mind you. In these stages, all of the microphones and all of the sound equipment is facing the stage because they want the sound only to come from the stage. They don't want the audience to talk or cough or sneeze or anything like that and the mic to pick that up. So there's a sound barrier that stages have. It's like a science thing. I don't really want to explain it, but it's like a sound barrier. So that prevents, if somebody coughs or sneezes or talks or anything like that, that prevents the microphone from picking it up from the stage. So the only way you could hear somebody speaking from the audience all the way up on stage through the mics is somebody has to pretty much be yelling at the top of their lungs. That's the only way that works. If you know about stages and sound systems and all that, that's the only way that works. He would have had to time it perfectly in order for that to work. It would have had to be timed perfectly, where they noticed there was a pause because it was Michael speaking, and then he was going to transition to Delroy speaking. Right after Michael paused, that brief like 3-4 seconds, then you heard it, and they made a face, but they didn't want to. They kept doing what they were supposed to be doing. You hear me? So I don't believe at all for 1 second that it was an accident. What I'm seeing, unfortunately, I'm seeing a whole bunch of people actually with Tourette's come up and be all like, y'all don't understand. Tourette's is not something easy to deal with. Tics are out of control, which is what they call them. Like, it's tics and stuff like that. Sometimes people say words. That's a different form of Tourette. Sometimes people do different things, right? Listen, I used to work with, I used to work with people with disabilities, right? I understand that. I am very sympathetic to that. I understand that there's a certain amount of grace that should be given, okay, if they can't help themselves. The way I have seen and analyzed this, I don't think it was an accident. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it was an accident. All right. And if we let this quote unquote accident slide, we're going to have a whole year full of Tourette's accidents. If we let this one accident slide and say, well, he has Tourette's, then every single Karen is going to have Tourette's. Every single police officer, everybody is going to be able to say the N-word and then be all like, oh, well, there goes my Tourette's again. I can't help myself. That's what's going to happen. And too often, unfortunately, I'm seeing Black people who actually do have Tourette's coming out trying to excuse this because they may be feeling attacked right now. Please, to any Black person who has Tourette's or any type of disability, do not be a mascot to protect them, because that's what you're doing. You're being a mascot to protect them, and they're attacking your community. Don't do that. All right? I want to make that abundantly clear. Please don't do that. I have sympathy for you. I feel for you. I'm not trying to pick on you. Do not become a mascot for them, because they will hide behind you and they will be all like, well, they do have, I have a disability, so I understand. Listen, I know you might feel attacked right now, but I'm telling you right now, the bigger picture is not to do that. All right. Now, Aziza, you were just on live and you were talking about it. So.
Yes. Egregious. During Black History Month out there, and that is absolutely insane. I will say, since it was in the UK, at least it wasn't as bad as an American show. But still definitely disrespectful. I'm not giving a damn if he got Tourette's, he got schizophrenia. I don't care if some demon came to him and whispered it in his ear and he just got possessed. It don't matter. I'm gonna be real. They should know better. I'm sorry. And this was intentionally disrespectful because, again, they could have edited it out. They didn't have to show that. It was a 2-hour delay, so they could have just took it out the show. It would have just been hearsay from those in the show, and then an afterthought conversation. But the fact that they allowed that to get out there like that, they had Google notifications being pushed out with the N-word on it and their picture up there. Y'all wanted us to see that. Y'all wanted us to see two Black men who just came off the height of this wonderful Black-ass American movie that was so successful last year to get up on that stage and be embarrassed and called exactly what you think they are, So I'm not giving this man no grace. I don't think it was just him. I don't even blame just him. I blame the whole award show, to be honest, because I think this was an orchestrated event, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he was so, like you said, this was not somebody in the front row. Like the Will Smith situation was a good example. He's not in the front row. He's not, ain't nobody, this is not a known celebrity for real. He's only known for this one movie that he's a part of. He's not even the main character of. So he's a part of this movie. He just happens to be a part of. And he's loud enough. He's in a position that's loud enough that you can hear him from the stage. The timing of it, like, it's just, I'm sorry. I'm not about to sit here and get that man no damn sympathy. And I seen that Black girl with Tourette's, too. It was absolutely egregious. Talking about, we have to be more understanding. Well, I'm going to need y'all to be more understanding towards our when we get insulted and anti-black racism is being displayed. Let's do more knowledge on that. Let's get more aware about that, especially during this time of month, this time of year. So yeah, I don't feel bad for him at all. I absolutely egregious outrage, everything between, and I think that was intentional for sure.
Mm-hmm. That's my stance on it. BX, you want to say something, and then can you set the decorum, and then we'll, get the room flowing.
Sure, I only seen the highlight. I just want to say everything that has happened this Black History Month has been totally disrespectful, and we need to do over. Nobody has granted us respect. Even the American-born white tea people are acting up. There was a professor in New York, I believe, that was saying stuff about take them around. And this is why I tell people, New York is very racist. We ain't that unified that they be up here. But sadly, and I'm going to say this, y'all might get offended, I have to prioritize what I'm going to go after as disrespectful, because there's just so much coming at us now. Those, the black students in there they seem totally oblivious. The white tea people gave more of a response, but we also have an elder, and I think I shared it to you, Afro, asked you to watch it to the end. She ran up on Mayor Ma'am Danny by herself, talking about a Miss Montgomery and how she feels they're trying to cover up her possible intentional unaliving. She was out there, and they owe us Black Americans. And Black Americans, we got to start doing by herself. And then a brother came up, and he was like, tell him, sister, tell him. And the other off-brand Black people standing there, you could tell they weren't Black Americans. But Black Americans are getting tired. All these people have their own heritage moms. They have their own slurs for their own people. He could have yelled it at somebody over there. He ain't have to do this to the brothers there. And Delroy Lindo isn't even of the lineage, but he respects the lineage because he understands that without those of us who paved the way, he wouldn't be over here getting all these accolades. He spoke on this. I just so upset about the disrespect behind it, and everybody expects us to take it. And now a lady with Tourette, you're saying, a Black lady stood up and asked, was she out? One of us? Like, who is she?
I didn't check to see. I didn't check to see that. But the thing is that when it comes to people who have, and this is the thing, when it comes to people who have intersectional identities, when there's multiple things that I identify with, and I get Tourette's is a big part of how you live your life, it plays a big role in your life. She's feeling some type of way that people are dismissing Tourette's that he has. And she's feeling by proxy like somewhat attacked by that. So that's why she's coming out and defending that, not knowing, and I'm not sure if she's from the lineage or not, but assuming she is, not knowing that she's being a mascot and a shield for his racism. But she's thinking that she's defending her disability or explaining to people her disability.
Right, so she's not leading with her lineage, she's leading off the syndrome that they have. So I want to say this is a quick comment, and then I'll set the decorum. So while people say we technically never had a first Black American president, do you understand that the first president of Liberia was a Black American? I think his name was Joseph Jenkins Roberts. Y'all can look that up. And ever since, he was the first and seventh president of Liberia. And ever since he transitioned, Liberia hasn't looked the same since. So we have had our lineage be a president. It's just the first president of an African nation. See how that works? But I'm sorry, that comment caught my eye. They said we built the nation. However, we have yet to have a first Black president. But we have had one over there in Liberia, okay, y'all? Mm-hmm. So let's harp on that. When they come at us, y'all ain't make no Black American president. Well, we were the first Black American president of an African country. So it's tit for tat out this. Anyway, thank you everybody who came up on the panel and immediately went on mute. I would like others to take that cue. When you come up, right, just go on mute until directed to speak. When directed to speak, please lead with your ethnic group and if you're over 18. Pronouns are not required. You can volunteer them, but it's not a requirement. You don't even have to say your age. I grew up with a grandmother. She would never tell us her age, right? And she was just one of those ladies, how old are you? Mind your business. How old are you? You know, that type of spitfire, I say. Also, ethnic groups. So we do understand that racially, Everybody is running around saying they're black, but we no longer lead off a race. Race is unconstitutional in the USA, meaning affirmative action is gone, DEI is gone, and even the Fearless Fund have been attacked for giving black people, air quotes, business funding, startup capital. So we lead off a lineage now. To be a black American ethnically, you have to find your ancestors on the 1870 USA Census. We don't do the Americas, air quotes. We don't do the mainland versus the islands and all of that. The USA 1870 Census makes you a black American. Means that your ancestor, I don't mean the white tea, y'all. Don't come over here where, well, you would have had to identify as one of our ethnonyms along the line. So that's a black American. If you have two parents from the island of Jamaica, you are Jamaican or Jamaican American, and that's fine. Haitian American, Nigerian American. That's fine. Everybody is allowed a voice here. To the African Latinos, your descendancy comes from the actual continent. You're not ethnically like us. You weren't raised like us or subjugated in this land like us. That doesn't mean you didn't have slavery or subjugation on your islands, but you're here in the United States of America. So please don't come up here. Well, we're all facing the same thing. No, we don't. We've been targeted for being black or black Americans. TikTok friendly language. Oh, by ethnics. We understand. One foundational black American parent, one Caribbean parent, or even one African parent, even one Latino parent. That's fine. Just say you're by ethnic and then we'll take it from there. I'll only stop you if I hear misinformation or disrespect. TikTok friendly language only, schmurder, unaliving, self-deletion, pew pew, which you're unable or unsure of how to say, please spell it out. We'll get it. If you can't say it on this panel, don't write it in the chat. You could code it out for us, please, or else I'm going to mute you, not for the whole live, but to remove the comment because they do monitor the comment section as well. See the orange heart by Afroleaf's name? Click the orange heart, claim your points, right? After you follow the prompts, it'll unlock some cool prizes for him and help keep him in the algorithm and stuff like that. Also, I think that's it. Like the screen, share the live, put it in your story. Let's get some fresh perspectives in here. And also, the host has a gift goal, and we do, when I come off of my hiatus, have to set up this subscription plan. I think you got one subscriber. You got to know their name in case they want to come up. They get panel priority. Correct, Afro?
Yeah. We'll set all that stuff up. We'll set all that stuff up soon. Don't worry about it. We'll set all that stuff up soon. We'll get good perks and benefits and all that.
And Zizi is the co-host. So if Zizi stops you, please go on mute. Okay, she is allowed to stop you. I'm just a mod, and sometimes I come off my mic quick, but she is the host. She is allowed to stop you. Thank you.
All right. We're gonna go to Denzel, then Jasmine, then HD, and then we'll get to Black Maryland movement. Black Maryland movement.
How y'all doing? I'm 30. I'm black, ethnically black. My lineage is here in America. And what I wanted to say, just as in response to your panel, do I think that it excuses racism? No. I do think that it explains what happened. I think that this situation overall is, I think that we need to look at the nuance in this situation. You know, when I first heard this, what happened, of course, like I was outraged. But as I did my research and looked up YouTube videos, and more importantly, I listened to other black people who suffer from this condition and what they're saying. I truly don't know if he meant to say it, you know.
Bro, I will suck your dick from the back, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. All right. See.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, BX, for blocking them. Okay.
I think, sorry, but I just think that we need to look at the nuance in the situation. And I think that as much as I want to, you know, be upset and going at this person, I just think that we need to understand that this truly is a condition that people can't control. And like I said, I know there's a bunch of people that are saying this, it had to come from somewhere, from, like I said, from the research I've done and listening to black creators who have this condition. They have said that literally they can hear it one time randomly and it can just come out. So I mean, hey, I don't have Tourette's, thank God. So I have to listen to their voices. So so to be clear, my beef isn't with that man. The only thing that I didn't like is that quote unquote, me personally, if I did that situation, I would have I would have been the first people to walk up to, both actors on stage and been like, yo, my bad, and explain myself. It wouldn't have taken me 2-3 days to say I'm sorry, personally.
Okay.
Just my opinion. I will say that I do believe, this is the last thing, I'm gonna wrap it up. My beef isn't with him. My beef was with the award show. If you look at the ratings for the last 3 years, you see that the ratings were low. So I think that what they were doing is they were banking on black outrage. So what we're going to do is we're going to purposely leave that in there so we can then sit there. We can have, the trending topics and black people can talk about this and we're popular. So that's what they wanted. So once again, my beef ain't with him. It's with the award show. If they can cut out pro stuff, they could have cut that out. But that's me letting my plane.
Okay. Well, I do want to move on because I do want to have everybody. I want to have an open panel because we normally have so many people coming in and out. We don't get a chance to have an open panel, so I want to do that tonight. However, though, and I'm trying to be as reasonable as I can be. However, I personally, I'm not buying that he said that due to his Tourette's. I'm not buying that. Here's my thing. If he did, he should be so apologetic. He should have immediately excused himself, first of all, and then apologized immediately. Like you just said, why does it take 2-3 days later after it's already, it would be one thing if it didn't air, but it's already all over TikTok, all over Instagram, all over, the internet. It's all over everywhere. And then you come out with a statement, and in your statement, you didn't really apologize in your statement. Not for real. To me, that shows you don't regret it. And if it was an accident, if it was something you really can't control, I don't think that you would be so much more apologetic than that. That's me. But I'm gonna move on. We're gonna get to our sister Jasmine.
Everybody, I hope you guys are having a splendid final week of National Black History Month. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember, because this is a second year cycle of this new cycle with President Trump, right? Do you guys remember, and this is a hypothetical, just think about this in your mind, when President Trump last year, people were afraid that he was going to get rid of Black History Month because he was like, we're ending Black History Month. And then a few days later, he was like, it's no longer Black History Month, it's National Black History Month. Because I remember that, right? And he started to get rid of some museum artifacts and whatnot. Around that same time, we had people protesting that the ICE thing was starting to pick up. But the first thing I remember was Mardi Gras and South Africans being mad about the Zulu parade. This was last year around the same time, because we're at that cycle again and we're starting to see these tethers for who they are. So last year around Mardi Gras, they started with South Africa. You guys are disgusting. We're going to talk about your family members unaliving themselves and being strange fruited because you guys are mocking the Zulus. You guys remember that happening at Mardi Gras last year with these freaking disgusting Africans? Because I remember that. Then shortly before that, though, I also remember the Super Bowl performance, right? Because all the road is a stage. And I remember Kendrick Lamar coming out and putting out a very specific message for us. It's a signal. We're infighting. And then this year, we got Bad Bunny speaking in what I was told was mumble Spanish, talking about invading our country because all America's America. I remember that happening last year. And here we are again. And I also remember these protected groups talking about their disabilities and whatnot. So now we can't say certain words because we're going to hurt somebody's group that's protected, except for us, the people who are always unprotected. And they always hide behind this one flag that I'm not going to mention, but it's a flag that's very colorful. And for some reason, they put a brown and a black stripe on that because somehow we're all about love. Somehow our whole being equals being a degenerate. Respectfully, The last thing I wanted to say was with that Grammys and the BAFTA thing you guys were talking about, right? They do that on purpose. They're playing in our face, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't see them trying to do it. No person with that type of element would sit there and say that. They had to have heard it, right? So he was around someone who's just like him, and that's why he sat there with his bitch ass, retarded fucking face, respectfully trying to play in our people's
Jasmine,
faces.
you
I'm
can't say
sorry.
the R word.
I'm so sorry. I'll drop and come back up, but that's
Thank you.
respectfully how I feel about them playing in our freaking face. I'm gonna drop and come back up.
BX, do we leave fruit emojis in the chat room now still or no?
Just don't put F1. They kind of onto it. I see some chats still use the fruit, some don't. The fruit will be okay, but the F1, mm-mm. And you dropped her, so that she knew to drop, so that's pretty good.
How long does she have to stay out?
Well, she should be. She didn't get a violation, but
Oh, okay.
I give it like 2 minutes or so just to make sure.
All right. All right. Okay. Well, we can bring him up just.
It's sort of like an apology, Miss Honey.
Okay. Let's get yeah. Let's go to HHD. You got it.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody?
How you doing?
Afro BX, what it do? I want to appreciate BX for how you be moderating, because I be on other platforms and you be surprised. But for the most part, like I heard the segment, you know what I mean? I heard it played from somebody else, so I heard exactly when and how and he said it and when he said it. And I got some notes. I said I've been around people with Tourette's, and whether they blurt out one thing about people with Tourette's is like you lose oxygen to your brain or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what makes you even do what you do. And then when you spurt out something, is rarely about what the hell is going on. See, that's something they don't want people to. When you got Tourette's, you don't like. You get what I'm saying? Like, if we playing basketball, I'm not going to rip out and say, "Oh, you bums in basketball." That's not how Tourette's work. Tourette's, you gotta say, "Oh, you gonna say some? I'm in a lake." You gonna say some more others. You're not gonna say nothing pertaining to basketball. You're not gonna say nothing pertaining to basketball. That's not how Tourette's work. You're gonna say something off the wall like that got nothing to do with what the hell is going on at the moment. You get what I'm saying? So for it be the two black dudes up there and he spurtedly spitted out the N-word. No, that's not how Tourette's work.
Exactly.
That's not how Tourette's work. You know what I mean? Now, if he would have said pussy boy or some more, I mean, cat lady, you know what I mean? Like, that's how Tourette's work.
Even if he would have said it, if these were two Asian people and he said it, then I would have been like,
listen. Right. You can't with Tourette's, you can't zoom in on exactly what you want to talk about. That's why they spurt out the stupid stuff they say, because they trying to zoom in on what they want to really say. So how can he really zoom in on some black men and really say what he want to say and have Tourette's? Yeah. That's not Tourette's. That's not Tourette. You can't zoom in on something. Okay, I see two black men. N-word. That's not Tourette's, dude. No. That's not Tourette's. Tourette's is you zoom in on something, you can't understand it, so you say some other stuff. So at the end of the day, my second point is, this was another wolf whistle for people to know that they can still be racist, because you got to understand there's been a lot of viral moments of black people. I posted it on my channel. It's been a lot of viral moments of white people testing black people. Of course, you've seen it with O'Donnell's, but it's been other things going on. Yeah. It's been a lot of videos going on, white people testing it. So I feel like this is the dominant. You gotta realize the dominant society is getting exposed for being the PDFs they is, and the DVs worshipers they is. So they gotta. One thing I was told once the once the people that be understand they're exposed, they're gonna put their agenda in overdrive. So they're not scared that we're exposing them. Just want to let y'all know they're not scared. They're just going to overdrive it, and because they feel like they got more weapons, they feel like they got so. But long as we gotta stay, long as we play with this internet, this is something they can't stop. They can't stop the internet, and this is why they mad. You know what I mean? But they're not scared. They're not scared. All they're going to do is just try to, because they know it's more sheep than it is real. You know, I'm sorry, I'm sad to say that, but it's more sheep than it is shepherds. So at the end of the day, we just gotta keep it up, keep going. And my third point was, they mad Sinners is a forever classic. Sinners became a classic overnight. Sinners will always be the movie of the decade, of the year, of the damn century. I believe other people will try to emulate Sinners. I believe other people. I believe other people. I believe Sinners is about to do a spinoff and about to come with a series, but that's through the grapevine I'm hearing. But at the end of the day, yeah, Sinners is an overnight classic. It's not going nowhere in our land. Yeah,
Appreciate that. All right, let's get you, because I want to. There's so many people, and there's people in the queue, so we got to get people up. So let's get to. You had a question, Black Maryland movement. You had a question. Black Maryland.
Hello.
Okay, yeah.
My mic was muted. I'm sorry. No, this is my first time on your show, but I got a question, and I know you got a lot of people, but I also want to comment on that man who made that racial word. I think he does have Tourette's, and people like that need to get help.
Okay.
You know, Dr. Umar Johnson say he gonna open his school up in a few days. So, you know, people like he might could go there and get some help. But this is my question.
Okay, yeah. What's your question?
Because I know you got a lot of people on the call. I looked up Pan-Africanism, and I come to find out Marcus Garvey cut deals with the KKK. And what I come to look into it, I found out the worldwide Pan-African movement is controlled by the Russian government. Do you know people that make documentaries that can bring this out?
I know some people. Pan-Africanism is an ideology. So when you say the worldwide Pan-African movement is controlled by, what do you say that again?
Okay,
1 minute before he goes, you got to say triple K, and please use the words allegedly so we don't get hit with misinformation. We get what you're saying, though. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's my first time on here. I'm sorry.
It's
You say
okay.
okay, those Pan-African organizations, I'm gonna say allegedly, the ones in Africa, the African Union, and a lot of them, Russia controls Africa, and they have. If you look up the Russian SVR, that's their intelligence agency. Google them and Pan-Africanism, and you will see the connection. It's completely ran by the Russian spy agency, the SVR. Putin runs the whole country. But I was just wondering, could you make a documentary about that? And you say Pan-Africanism. Yes, Marcus Garvey cut deals with those white tea hate groups.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna look into that. And see. I'm gonna check that out. Thank you for that information.
And then I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get off. But yes, we can take that man to Umar Johnson School in a few days, and he can get him some help.
Oh yeah, that's what he needs. He needs to be a part of the DAFA movement. All right, DAFA movement. All right,
that bill's not even completed yet. That bill's not even completed yet in Delaware, so he'll be on open land.
His first student gonna be a racist Tourette's, a racist with a Tourette syndrome. Okay. Don't be calling. If he gonna be calling Dr. Umar all types of N words.
I'm weak.
Oh Lord, I'm not even okay. All right, but thank you, brother. All right, let's get to Morpheus. Morpheus. All
Going
right.
on? What's going on, panel? Everybody's making some good points. I came up on here because I actually did follow the girl with Tourette's. I seen her like for a month or so. So even she has the N word tics. I've seen her where she talks and she just blurs out the N word. Apparently,
Now,
for some odd reason, it's very common. But hold on,
okay.
hold on. But
Can
you
I ask you
guys
a
made
question?
some.
No, can I ask a question? Because there's a difference. She says
Yeah,
the N word with the ER or with the A.
she's done both.
Okay.
I've
All
seen
right.
her. I've seen her done both.
Okay.
And she talks about it's crazy that this happened because I found her a month ago just randomly strolling on TikTok, and I thought it was very interesting. There's another black girl, I can't remember her name, that also talks about it too.
Okay.
But you guys did make some good points because even when she's talking, it's like the other brother said, she's talking about something else and it just totally whatever she blurs out is totally unrelated to what she's talking about. So
Exactly.
so that is a
Exactly.
good point. She did talk about she has a boyfriend. We never see who that boyfriend is. I don't know if it's a white person. I don't know. She's this. She also talked about how it's not just blurting things out. They also hit themselves. Like you see her talking, she'll just start hitting herself randomly. So that's a thing they have. Um, I think now the part that really got me mad was like, okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he really has Tourette's. They could have paused that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They had these delays. You know what I'm saying? And at first, I was going to give him a pass because, like I said, I watched the lady before. She does explain this stuff, even before the situation going on, because I was kind of aware. But then I thought about it. Even when she blurs stuff up, she says in her stories that she apologized when she says something wrong in the public because not a lot of people know about it. You know what I mean? So that's the fact that the person was fighting so hard not to apologize does make me side eye them. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because because there are people on this app that have that syndrome and they do talk about it. Black and white. There's actually a lot of black ones. Surprisingly, I've never seen them in real life, but I see them on this app. You know what I mean? But it's but you talk to any UK black person, they I say racism is everywhere, but the racism that they like to practice in the UK is like what I call a passive racism.
You're a UK racist.
Jasmine, please don't start.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
did have a question.
Mm.
Do the black Tourette people yell out slurs for white tea people? Like cracker. Do they just cracker? Do they do that?
Uh,
That's what I want
yeah.
to know.
I've only watched a couple of them. I know that they do say some slurs, and then of course they say anything viral. Like if you say anything that's like really viral that's going on, they'll pick it up. You know what I mean? So that's how they explain it. Like what's that one viral thing that's going on? My mom's kind of homeless. Like she would just say that randomly because so many people are saying that. So
Right. So
one
if a
thing,
lot of people's on the internet hate FBA, you're basically saying that's why.
Okay. Hold
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Let's. I'm gonna let you finish. Then we're gonna get to America, no, Americana, and then we're gonna have an open panel because there's some things I want to say too.
yeah. I think she means well, but you guys make some good points because like they could at least apologize. You know what I'm saying? And then that'd be a good educational thing about Tourette's. Because I don't know about you guys, but like they apologize right away. And I'm like, okay, no big deals. I would look more at the Ward's thing because they could have bleeped that out. Because that's what
Okay.
I'm more pissed off about than anything.
Yeah,
Me
that's true.
personally.
Yeah, they allowed that to air. And there was other things that they did bleep out. So you know for a fact they could have bleeped it out if they wanted to. Because there was
Right.
somebody who yelled like free Palestine and they bleeped that out. They
Exactly.
completely was
So
like, hey, we're not airing that. So the only reason we are hearing this is because they did allow it to go out.
of course, because they still hating from George
Hmm.
Floyd. That's why they always bring him up. So like they're trying to creep. I think the other brother said earlier they're trying to creep the racism back to that level again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think was going on.
Hmm. All right.
But
Uh
thanks.
are you from the U where are you from? Where are your people from?
Oh, I'm from here. I'm from here. I'm FBA.
Okay.
I originally come from the Bronx, but I'm living in Orlando, Florida.
Okay. All right then. All right, Americana, you got it.
Hey, how you guys doing? I did watch that video in regards to what that gentleman said. David, was his Morrison? His last name was his last was John
Davidson.
Morris.
Davidson.
Davidson. I'm
John
sorry.
Davidson. Yeah.
And I was not really familiar with that disease. I too follow a young lady on Instagram, a young lady, and she has Tourette syndrome very bad. I mean, it's to the point where as though she's talking, she'll whistle or she'll say the sky, or she'll just say random things out of her mouth that have nothing to do with what she's talking about. And I also went online last night and I seen that interview that gentleman had with the Englishman Bosch, and I don't know how bad this gentleman has it. I mean, I see the whole interview, and he jumped at the guy like twice within. I mean, the whole 35-minute video. I mean, he jumped at it where he's going to hit him, type of thing. So I don't know if there's different elements of it. My ex-wife is a school psychologist. She told me she did classes in regards to that disease, and she told me that's not common for somebody to sit there and just blur up that word when she's seen two black people on stage. They said that she told me he's done that before, or that he was just thinking that and he utilized it as an excuse to do so. I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but also I also read that this gentleman sucker punched his mom in the face. I mean, I'm not giving any excuses on his behavior or what happens, but I'm just saying, I don't know. Like I said, based on what I see with the young lady on TikTok, on Instagram, and him, I don't know if there's different levels of this or how severe it could be, but I don't know. But like I said, my ex-wife sat there and told me, she said he was thinking about what he said last night, and that's why he said what he said. That had nothing to do with his disease. I mean, I land my plane.
All right.
You from Philly, Americana? Is that you, the man from Philly?
West Philly, that's right.
Okay. I recognize the voice. Thank you.
Real quick, because I do want to get an open. There's some things I want to say, but I want to get to black issues real quick, and then we'll go ahead.
We got it, brother. How y'all doing, man? Look, God bless y'all all, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Big up, Afro. Man, look, man. Y'all, God bless y'all, man. Y'all some sweet children. Y'all real sweet, like my grandma said. Y'all coming up with all these little ass excuses and whatnot, man. Look here, man.
Yo, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, bro.
Hold on. Wait a second. Hold on.
Tourette saying like you got a mental condition and that you don't know what you dealing with as far as you so mentally challenged that you don't know what's going on. The average person who has Tourette's can hold a civil conversation. It is the outburst they can't control. The average person who has Tourette's can sit back and have a conversation, me and you, like we're talking right now. They just can't control that mental outburst. It's not like they're mentally challenged, or that R word we like to say, or any other little mentally challenges, like autism or something like that. It's not like that, These people, they work, they carry on normal lives, and this is why that guy was in a movie. You all must remember, this guy was the star of a movie. So, it's not like these people can't live a normal life. So everybody's going to miss me with all this, psychoanalyzing it. No. This guy knew exactly what was in his subliminal. And his Tourette's just so happened to be right on point to blurt out what his subliminal was thinking. Because when he see two Chinese up on stage, he ain't go, two chick, or, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But why is it all of a sudden when you see these black brothers up on the stage, now that word comes out just so freely? It's because that was what it was in his subliminal. His subliminal has been thinking that probably in his normal conversation, he was talking on some lines with the gentleman he was with. And then his subliminal Tourette's came out and said what he was feeling about the two gentlemen he's seen on the stage. He didn't say this about anybody else, that their race or their ethnicness. He said this about two black men who was up on that stage. So everybody up on this panel gonna miss me with that bullshit. Excuse my French,
Well,
because that man knew exactly what the hell he was saying, and I'm a land.
But sir, that's what we were saying
yeah,
though. I
that's
mean,
pretty much what most of the panel been saying
That
this
ain't how
whole
you
time.
get
move on,
no,
bro.
no. It was a lot of excuses. There was a lot of
I
excuses
know I
coming up.
said
No,
what I
I
said.
No,
kept,
no, there
I
was
kept hearing.
literally there's literally
I
only
don't
been
think you were paying
two excuses.
attention.
I heard about at least 2 to 3 excuses about
no, but
I
no, you
Sir, you
didn't.
weren't
No,
paying
you didn't.
attention.
No,
You
you
weren't.
didn't.
You weren't paying
You came
attention.
up and I
Yeah.
low key gave you a pass, calling everybody. That you
Nah, I said
said
y'all being sweet like my
no,
grandmother.
nobody.
I said like my
Hey,
grandma
oh,
would
first
say.
off, brother,
I
brother,
ain't no
brother,
bot in my business, man.
brother.
Don't even
You
start
Hey,
know
this
what?
bullshit,
hey,
man.
okay, that's enough. That's enough. How about that?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
about
Let
that's
that
enough?
go right.
I don't know.
Master, I think he mistook the man's joke when he said he needs help. He should go to Dr.
Yeah,
Umar's school.
yeah,
I think
that
he
was a
mistook
joke that
that
we
for
all
being
laughed
nice.
about. He don't really sound that sober to me, to be honest with you right now, because I don't know what's going on. Most of the panel was saying that we don't buy that, and he came up insulted. Nobody insulted nobody before he did. He came up, y'all too sweet. What, dude? What? Did you not listen to what? Nah, we don't need that. Get your drunk ass off. Now, I guess we can have open panel then. I want to say this. The whole, I get it. I understand. The lady, I don't know what's going on, and I do think that there is different types of Tourette's and levels to it. There is Tourette's where people have physical tics, where they just twitch their head or they just snap or whistle or something like that. There's Tourette's where people will just blurt out random words or something like that, or blink or whatever. There's different y'all get me effed up. Okay, well you can go somewhere, nobody asking you to be here. All of that. So there's different levels to it. I'm listening to this woman. I've not followed her. I don't know who she is. I have seen her clips before though. I've seen a couple of people. I'm listening to more people with Tourette's come out and try to speak on Tourette's. None of them are saying the N-word. I'm seeing tics all throughout their video, and none of their tics are the N-word. Especially with the ER. None of their tics are that. I'm seeing people throw their hands up, snap, whistle, twitch, blink, say random words, even curse words. None of them are saying the N-word. I did some research. The N-word and other racial slurs are, first off, Tourette's is a very rare thing. And then with Tourette's, and there's a certain type of Tourette's that they have where they say like words and stuff. With that Tourette's, the N-word is like the rarest thing, one of the rarest things that they do. So for him to say that when Michael and Delroy is up on stage to scream, he didn't just say it. It's not like he was sitting back in his chair and he was like, N-word. It's not like he said that. You could hear how loudly he was screaming for that word to stretch across the room and for it to be heard, not just by them two, but by everybody. That word was heard by everybody in the room. If you listen to the raw footage, it sounded like he was in the back of the room and he did like that. That's how it sounded. I don't think that I've never seen nobody do that with Tourette's. I don't buy that. I don't
Can I
buy
add
that.
on to that?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I've been honestly, because I don't have Tourette's, I've been waiting very patiently, and I was saying this earlier, but I just had to get that off my chest. Um, People with Tourette's, I would liken that to like a parrot, right? If we're talking about cognitive abilities, respectfully, disclaimer, I do talk from a educational perspective because that's my whole thing, being someone working on being a doctor to teach our people how to not be birds. So when I hear a parent's only going to parrot what they hear, right? I would liken that to Tourette's. So no parrot or no being just comes up with that word. You have to see that mimicked. Some parrot in that person's community, even if it was a black parrot or a white tea parrot, they would have had to have heard that term be said. And these people are not unintelligent, right? Because birds are very intelligent, you know. They have bird brains. They're very intelligent. These
We're not
birds are
birds.
I'm almost done. I'm gonna land. I'm
It's
gonna land.
animals. We're
I
humans.
I'm almost done landing my plane. I'm just talking scientifically, right? But yes, I'm not going to sit here and act like that bird. I can give him a pass for having a disability, but he heard that term. And everybody that says that term with that hard they paired another bird around them, whatever their ability was. I land there.
What I think
Not
that
a bird.
just
I'm
listen to
not a
what you're
bird.
saying.
I'm a human being. I'm not a bird. And I get sick of y'all trying to dumb us down to animals because you won't think higher than yourself. I'm higher than a bird. Now, if you want to be a bird, you go be a bird.
Why is everybody getting so offended tonight? I don't think that's what she meant. I think she was trying to create some type of analogy that was similar, that was easy to understand, and everybody knows what parrots are. I don't think she
Wait,
was.
wait, is he
She
mad? I
said we
didn't
should
call you
act
a
like
bird.
birds.
No,
No,
HD,
no
HD.
disrespect, Afro. No
No,
disrespect,
you
Afro.
thought
But
I
she
really
was
called you
saying
like
we
a
should
real
act
life
like
bird?
birds. She was saying we should act like birds. I'm telling you how these ladies think, Afro. I'm telling
Okay.
you. I know you probably don't believe it, bro. They're saying we should act dumb like birds, bro. I'm telling you, bro. We should. I'm telling you. You don't believe
Clearly,
it.
that's not what I said,
I'm
and you're
telling you
taking
that's
it
what she meant, bro.
somewhere.
All
I
right,
know you
hold
don't
on, hold
believe me,
on, hold
bro.
Okay,
on.
okay,
One
okay.
I know you
moment,
don't
Y'all,
believe me,
please.
y'all,
bro. We
y'all,
should
y'all,
all
listen,
act
listen,
like.
All right,
everybody,
I
hey,
muted him. I
hey,
muted him, please. I step away from every time I stepped away from the phone, I heard something. Somebody went off the rails. Let's get it together, y'all. I don't know what's going on tonight, but I don't want to go through it. It was a
listen,
miscommunication, and we're gonna move on.
I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. I do not feel like arguing tonight. I'm not about to do that.
Let's not do
I'm
that.
not about to go back and forth and be arguing or not. We just gonna move people off the panel if it's gonna get like that, and I hope it doesn't. But yeah, maybe you took it that way. I don't think she meant it that way, so we're gonna move on. Now, Denzel, you were saying something, and then we got a couple other people that spoke.
Yeah, all I was saying is, like, when I first came up, like I said, this is we really need to phrase this in a more nuanced way. I understand what everybody's saying, and I'm right there with y'all. I get it, but I just think that we have to understand that this is a neurological condition, and I think a lot of the comments that I've been hearing from the people on the panel, not everybody, is like an ignorance to Tourette's. And to be clear, I'm not no Bible God or Tourette's, and I ain't that type of person. But just like even doing research myself, even the minimal research I've done today, you're able to kind of jump into their lives. And like I said, when you are listening to Black creators and are talking about it, it's hard for me to then go against what they're saying. I don't know if this man, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just think that we are busy focused on that white dude when we should be focused on the award show, because they are literally the villain. They're the ones that was puppeteering that thing. They could have edited that out, and it wouldn't even have been a soundbite. They legitimately wanted our outrage. They wanted us to be upset. They wanted us to make it trend because they know that Black people make it trend. That's literally what it is, and that's why. And
Okay, so y'all should get shamed for y'all being the ones they used. They
Now,
used y'all. They
here's the
used
thing.
Tourette.
Here's the thing, though. We do got to focus on the award show, the BAFTA awards. We do got to focus on them because they allowed that to happen. However, we shouldn't. And this is my stance on it. We should not give a pass to John Davidson. The reason being is because that is going to set a very dangerous precedent. Then everybody's going to be all like, "Oh, really? Tourette's is now the excuse to get away with saying whatever you want to say." And then all of a sudden, everybody and their mama is going to have convenient Tourette's of racism. Everybody's going to be able to use mental, quote unquote, mental illness. And I'm not saying he doesn't have it. Everybody's going to be able to use mental illness as an excuse for being racist. You had Karens doing that. And then you have their family being all like, well, you got to understand she has bipolar issues, and you do got to understand that sometimes she does have schizophrenia. How many times do we deal with that with white T people when they go out there wilding, doing something racist and all that stuff, and they blame it on, well, they have. And back in high school, he was diagnosed with bipolar, and he has anger management issues, and he has schizophrenia. Passes that they wouldn't give a Black person a day in their life. They wouldn't give a Black person that a day in their life at all. We all know that.
I would like to apologize to HD because if you have that disability, if you have Tourette's, my apologies. If you felt like, because sometimes that happens, if you felt like I was attacking you, because that's the only other logical thing that I can
You think
He
imagine.
I
has
got Tourette's?
Tourette's.
He
You
kept
think I
saying
got
I was,
Tourette's?
yeah, no, he kept saying I was attacking you for the Tourette's you have. If that was the case, that was not my
You
point.
think I got Tourette's?
No. You just kept saying me and we.
Okay. Okay. She apologized. All right. So
So you just threw a jab.
no. Okay.
Cool.
So
I'm
host,
gonna let.
but
I'm
host, let
not
me,
She
gonna disrespect
apologized, brother.
Afro Elite. I'm
I
not
think
going.
she
I'm not.
honestly meant an apology.
hey, but host, I'm
Y'all
gonna
got
drop.
y'all. But
Hey,
y'all
I'm gonna
peep that
drop.
though, right? Y'all
No.
peep that, right? Y'all peep that. As long as y'all peep that.
Okay. She okay.
Lord.
She didn't understand what offended you. She doesn't know what you have
She
right,
just said
Dunson.
I had
She doesn't
Tourette's.
know. She doesn't know you personally.
Oh
So
my
she said,
God.
hey, maybe that's why you took it
No,
that
she
way.
just said she thought I had Tourette's.
She said, what? Because that to her is why you would be
No,
offended.
she
But
just said she thought I had
because
Tourette's.
you
Some
were
people need to go to
offended by
sleep.
what she said.
No, that's
So
not what
that's
she
what she
said,
just
bro.
said, brother. Okay, thank you,
No, that's not what
thank
she
you,
said.
brother.
Okay,
Thank
what
you.
you are you gonna
That's
Hey,
cry
but
that's
hey,
about it?
thank
let
you.
me say this really quick. Hey,
I
host, I'm about
heard
to
what she
drop.
said.
Hey,
She just
host, I'm
said
about
she
to
thought
drop.
I had Tourette's.
I want to be.
HQ,
Hey, I want to be clear. This
HD. I
is
keep saying
Now, if
HD.
y'all want to panda, then
Are
go
you gonna
panda.
cry about it, dude?
Bro,
Who
stop.
about to get
cares?
real.
Cry about it?
Hey,
I'm
Denzel,
crying
hey,
about it.
I'm about to.
Who
Hey, I'm about to
everybody
cares,
drop.
stop.
dude?
I'm
Who
talking to
cares?
Denzel right now.
Crying about it?
All right,
Sorry about that.
Denzel, let me ask you this question. And I want you to give me your honest and please don't try to, because we're having an educational thing. Because from what I know, I don't think anybody here, Tourette's is a very, very rare thing, and a lot of people are uninformed by it. So we shouldn't allow this to become a thing where because people are uneducated, we give passes. All right. Because let's be honest, just because somebody does have Tourette's doesn't mean that they can't use that, um, as an excuse to get away with stuff. All right. That doesn't mean it's not possible. So let me ask you this, and please just be honest with me, bro. If this was during Pride Month and there were two people of the alphabet community given an award and he yelled the F word, he screamed the F word at the top of his lungs the same way he did. Let's say this is not Michael B. Jordan and Delroy up there. These are two people of the alphabet community. I'm trying to be coded with my language, but you know what I mean. During Pride Month, and there's a whole bunch of flags and all that stuff, and he called them the F word. Would you say that we should excuse that because it's Tourette's? If
Not,
instead of the N word, it was the F word.
not at
Same
all.
situation. Would you excuse that?
Not at all. Now, let me be clear because I want to, not at all, just to answer your question, to be absolutely
Okay.
clear, I'm not talking about giving nobody no pass on that situation. And if it's coming off like I'm like that, it's not like, that's not what I'm meaning. What I'm trying to say, all I'm saying is that we don't know this man's mind. And that's why, like, and we're trying to debate and try to figure out what this man is and things like that. There's people saying that Tourette's makes you do this. We don't know this man's mind. My only point of coming up here was literally saying, we can't control, we don't know what's in that man's mind. It's the award show that's the villain that's causing this BS. That's literally what I was up here saying. There ain't no passes for saying that thing. I want to be absolutely clear. I'm not sitting there saying that we should sit there and be like, it's okay. It's not like that. And to
Okay.
be clear.
You might not be saying that, but you are trying to excuse it by saying he has a disability. What we're trying to say is that all of the things, all of the events that lined up perfectly for him to say that and for it to happen the way it did couldn't have been coincidental, couldn't have been accidental. So it had to have been deliberate. You're saying that it isn't deliberate and that he has a legitimate disability. And I'm asking, let me clarify the question. His legitimate disability, let's say he has that, what would you still say it was not on purpose, it wasn't deliberate at all if it was the F word against people of the LGBT community?
Wait, it's wrong in general. Like, am I answering your question?
But would you get on a panel and say that we're being ignorant or too harsh because he has Tourette's? Would you
No.
defend the fact that it was an accident because he has Tourette's?
So to be clear, when I said ignorance, I said of Tourette's the condition. I wasn't saying people were being ignorant as in like not intelligent. I'm just saying we're all ignorant to something we just don't know. So when we're hearing people that are saying, certain things that, I know are not true about the condition of Tourette's, that's what I was referring to. So, it's not a defense thing. It's just talking about the condition. And just to state it again, once again, my beef ain't with that guy. It's with the award show. That was my entire point.
We get the award show.
No, I'm
But
not
we're not
African. No, I'm
gonna
not
sit up
African.
here. We're not gonna sit up here. You're dodging, because the
So
thing
he was
is
just
that you
some
keep trying
blind.
to pivot. You keep trying to pivot to the award show. We understand the award show was wrong. Nobody's debating about that. The only debate is John Davison wrong? Was in a complete accident because of a mental disability he has, a disability, or did he do it on purpose, intentionally? You're saying it wasn't on purpose and it's his disability, so we shouldn't focus on him. I'm asking if the roles were different and if it was a different community that was offended and if he used a slur to a different group of people, would you still say that we shouldn't focus on him at all and it had to have been an accident? Or would you say that that was probably intentional if he used it against a different community? If these two were Mexicans and he called them a Mexican slur, would you say, well, that's probably his Tourette's? Or would you say that was probably intentional and he was being sneaky? You're not muted.
No, I know. I'm honestly trying to figure out the best way I'm saying this because I feel like I'm not coming off clear.
You
I'm
not
not
answering the question is
well,
answering the
no,
question.
because what I'm trying to because
A
I
simple
don't know,
question.
I don't know what this man was thinking. That's what I'm saying. No, I don't know what this man was thinking.
Do you think this dude was a brainless
That's
robot?
legitimately what I'm trying to say. I
Is
don't know if this man is legitimate. I don't know if he's not. That's what I was up here trying. That's what I'm up here talking about. I
so?
don't know. I have
Why does it
no
sound like
idea
you're giving
if
him
this
the
man,
benefit of
if
the
it was
doubt?
intentional or not.
Is
In
this
trying to pretend,
actor incoherent?
well,
Is this actor incoherent?
in
Is
trying to
this
pretend,
actor incoherent?
in
Is
trying to
this
pretend.
actor incoherent? Can this actor ability? He has the ability. He lives through life on a regular, right? Even though he has this supposed Tourette's, he still goes through life doing actor. You got to read a script. You got to memorize words. So he's not unintelligent, bro. Why are you acting like he's a mindless robot? He had no control over what
He
he
had a
was
choice.
It's
Well,
doing.
given you have Tourette's,
maybe you,
HD, and maybe
maybe you weren't up
like
here.
Why
Maybe you weren't
y'all
up here
acting
when
like
I
people
first.
with Tourette's is some mindless
Well,
robots
but
that just don't got
that's
no
not what I'm saying.
control over
no
nothing?
You weren't
one
up here
said
when I first.
that.
You blame.
Well, you
Yes,
weren't
he
up here
is.
when I.
Can
He's
I
blaming.
interject? Can I
He's
Hold on,
interject?
blaming
everybody.
Trump.
Everybody, hold on.
He's
Hold
putting it
on,
all on the
Everybody can't hear
show.
at the same time.
sir. Let me just say, today I was informed that if you go to New York, maybe Google him, our public advocate, Jermaine Williams, has Tourette's. I did not know that all these years. He's never had an outburst. He's around a bunch of all these other diverse ethnicities here. And I'm pretty sure a lot of them he don't like. He's Caribbean, right? So, and he has never came out and called anybody a slur to my knowledge. They just told me that he had Tourette's in the comment section. So maybe each case is different. We're not experts on it, okay? But I don't want the lie to get derailed when we're trying to have an open topic, but it seems to just keep going left and whatnot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're
Y'all
gonna
got
move on
control over
because
y'all
there's
tongue.
people who
Can I
haven't
say something
spoken yet.
respectfully and not being mean or rude? I just feel like when it goes back to the prompt, right? Disabilities used as an excuse for schmacism or whatever, or racism. I do feel like we have to recognize too the algorithm, they will pull in people who have that diagnosis. And I'm actually not being trying to be funny. Like sometimes the
Makes
signs are
sense what
just
you're about to
there.
say right now. What you're about
Yeah,
to say
cause
right now makes no sense.
Okay. All
okay,
right. Well, yeah. Okay. We get it.
that's
It
all.
don't.
We
It
got to
don't.
get
It
to
don't.
some
I'm
of
not
the
about
other
to. It
people.
don't.
We got to
It.
get to some of the other people who haven't spoken yet. Because
Hey, but
Miss.
host, thanks for having me up. I'm about to drop down. But thanks for having me up, man.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna be honest with you. Before you drop down,
Okay.
you're acting like a defense attorney.
Yeah, you can't.
You really
Don't.
acting like a defense. You are. It's like you're too invested in trying to get the blame off of him.
What it is I'm conflicted. That's the issue. I'm conflicted because, like I said, when I first came up here and I saw this, my first reaction was everybody else's. It was intentional. It was intentional. But when I'm hearing black people who have the condition saying it, and it's multiple of them, and I don't have that condition, so it's hard for me to then sit there and to say he didn't say it on purpose, and it's also hard for me to say he did. So that's why I'm saying while we're sitting there arguing about a condition that none of us have, the award show is just raking in the bucks, and that's what I was talking about. And that was my point for coming up here. So it's not in defense of the word. It's not in defense of him saying the word. It's nothing like that. It's just understanding that this is a very nuanced conversation that we're supposed to be happening that just isn't happening in general. It's becoming about something that it's not, and that's what I was getting at. And
All right. I get that. Let me
that's all
ask
I
you
was
one
We
saying.
last
can
question. Let me
still
ask
do
you one
that.
last question though. If somebody took a spray can and they wrote the N word on somebody's car, would you blame Tourette's?
It's
Or would
no,
you say that's
not at all.
no?
That
You
not
wouldn't.
at all.
So there's a certain thing that they can do. There's a certain line where you're all like, no, Tourette's is not an excuse. There is certain things that they can do that you all like, no, that's not Tourette's. That's purpose. That's intent, right? And
Hey, Afro, I got one more.
what we're
Oh, my
saying
bad.
is what he did was crossing that line to where you can't even logically, reasonably, and I'm not trying to say, oh, Tourette's ain't real. You can't logically, reasonably analyze what Tourette's is and say what he did is because of Tourette's. That's what we're saying. We're not trying to dismiss Tourette's, but we're saying that, I don't. He went way too far with that for me to say that that's Tourette's.
Exactly.
But let's get
Can I
to
ask him a
You should be able
yeah,
question,
to
let's get to
Afro?
determine
Mr.
that.
Ether.
Can I ask Denzel a question here?
Yeah,
Yes.
what's up, man?
Denzel, do you believe that there is a certain level of accountability that disabled people have at all for what they say or do?
Yes, I do. I don't know if you're on the panel earlier. The issue, I really wish he would have apologized immediately when it happened. And even that quote unquote apology that he put out, I don't think it was an apology. It was more so like if you were offended, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying there is accountability. Yes.
Can
Thank
I
you.
add one more thing
Yeah.
real quick? Can I add one more thing before you
Hold on,
finish?
hold on.
Tourette's,
I get you, but
Tourette's on. All right, all right, all right, all right.
yeah, he hasn't spoken. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, so I work with disabled people and I understand that there are things they can control and things they cannot control, things that, and a lot of times they can learn. And when you really understand people with certain mental disabilities and things like that, they can pick up on things and they can learn things. They can learn when things are bad or good, right or wrong, things to do, things not to do. Okay. Uh, in certain cases like that. Now, I've never dealt with anyone with Tourette's, but here's my thing. I don't care. This isn't about Tourette's. This is about racism. Racism is learned. It's not a natural thing for people to go around saying the N word. It's not a natural thing for people to be comfortable with it. If you have a condition where you just spout racism, then stay home. Okay. And he could have made that decision. He chose to come out into the world and do what he did, and he needs to be held accountable for that.
Exactly.
Black people, we don't get passes for having disabilities. There was a special needs kid who got his Nintendo Switch taken from him at school, and they locked him up when he beat up his teacher.
Oh, I
Okay,
remember that.
he should have had all types of help. The school should have provided all
Yep.
types of services. They didn't. They failed him,
Yep.
and he was held accountable even though he was disabled. Okay. I
Word.
don't care what a disabled person says. I don't care if you have Tourette's. I don't care if you got Down syndrome. I don't care what you have, okay? Because I can just claim I have a disability. I have Tourette's of hands going across people's faces and feet going up people's rumps, okay? Anybody can sit up here and claim that they are disabled. I don't believe him at all. And just for the record, I don't believe him at all. But even still, okay, You don't do nothing like that and then think that you're going to just skate by with, oh, I have a disability. This isn't the first time that we've seen this. Something we know about the YT supremacists is they weaponize everything. Everything they touch turns racist, and they ruin everything that they touch. Now, just like how a someone who makes a false grape claim, they ruin it for the rest of the legitimate people who are victims of grapes. Well, yeah, that's what this guy just did. He just ruined it for all the people who legitimately have Tourette's, and they have that rare form and everything like that. And now people are going to be wondering, well, is this person serious? Are they trying to take advantage of a situation? You're just ruining things like that. And I
That's
want to
true.
also say that because this is Black History Month, the YT supremacists are very symbolic, and it is like a we need to actually chronicle and catalog all of the past Black History Months that we've had, because we don't seem to understand how much we always get attacked during this month. Last month, I've seen the same pattern here. Okay, this month we had Shabuti Scratcher up there saying that we or the immigrants built this country. We had a Haitian lady call us dirty. We had a Sierra Leonean threaten us. We had another African immigrant say that she wanted to put us in a hole and burn us alive. You had a Romanian spit on a Black American over there, Adonis. You had a Jamaican woman. Not only did she make a stereotype superhero, but we found out she made a movie talking about she's going to sacrifice Black Americans. And now we have this YT supremacist who, I guess he has a disability or whatever, calling us the N word at during a Black movie, basically an event, where they're highlighting sinners. Okay, the hottest, newest Black movie that there is out there right now. And these people are mad. These people are jealous. These people are HATE full. Okay. And we need to just call it out for what it is. It's just another tradition of us just being attacked as foundational Black Americans. They want to find some way around it. Like Afro said, yeah, they want to use this as a precedence. Is there a way that we can call Black people the N word openly in front of the whole world and get away with it? No, 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 no. Now we got to start going in on people with disabilities now. Okay. Now you're not leaving any room for our humanity is what you're doing, because we're not going to allow people to start falsely claiming things so they can attack us and our children and our land.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
And
point.
I
Thank you.
agree
They're
with
trying
everything
to
you
use
said, man.
disability. They trying to use
But
disabled
thank you so
people
much
to
for
be
having me up, host.
racist.
Yeah, they
That's crazy, yo. You made
All right.
sense right there, yo. They try and use disabled people to be this. Cause think about it, and this is what I wanted to say in our land. When it comes to Tourette's, they deal with excitement. So the only time they even blurt out anything is when they feel excited or when they feel stressed or when they feel. So for you to see two Black men up there, let's just say he did have Tourette's. For you to see two Black men, you got so excited. So either way, they just screwed themselves. So yeah, you got so excited, you said the N-word, or you was lying and you just played it off and said and then so either way, like they screwed themselves.
My thing is, and after this, we're gonna get to Dreadhead, Kingpin, and then Rob. My thing is that if it was if you step on somebody's foot, if you in a train, bus, and the line in the grocery store is busy, whatever the case is, and you accidentally bump into somebody, complete pure accident, you turn around and say, "Hey, my fault. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that." Even if it wasn't 100% your fault, if both y'all not paying attention and you bump into somebody, you be like, "Oh, okay, my fault. I didn't mean to step on your shoe. I didn't mean to bump you. I didn't mean to hit you or anything like that. I didn't mean to. It was an accident." It don't take you days later, okay, to if you run into that person at the store again. "Hey, remember Monday when I bumped into you? Oh, I didn't mean that Monday." And you saying that Thursday. What does that mean? when you could have said it Monday. He could have made a statement saying, "Hey, it's Tourette's. I sincerely apologize." Which first off, like I'm saying, I still am of the opinion that was 100% deliberate.
I don't think it was
I'm still of that opinion. No, I've not seen any evidence that's changed my mind so far at all. But let's say it is. He would have immediately apologized if he really did feel sorry. If he felt sorry about it, he would apologize to Michael, to Delroy. He would apologize to any black person who was there. And then he would have made a public apology because he knew it went viral. That's what he would have did if he was really sorry.
And he also could have yelled out sorry right after he said it. If you could yell out that word twice, you could say, "Oh, sorry," real quick too, and then go make an actual public statement as well. So let's not miss that. But also to add on to Mister's point, the white tea supremacists don't like taking L's, period. So it's no coincidence that they use these two brothers up there, Michael B. Jordan, who's always played very integral roles, and pro-black roles at that, and Delroy Lindo as well. But Delroy Lindo is not FBA. However, this is the same brother who went viral just a few years ago for standing on business with a white anchor who was making a point trying to say, "Oh, well, what's the big deal about the N-word? I can say the N-word, you can say and he was like, "Well, say it." So that became a whole meme. It went viral, but he was standing on business right there. You know what I'm saying? So he's been on code. He's been riding. He's been a rider for FBAs for a long time. So that's no coincidence that they want to do that, because they used him as a catalyst, not only to insult us, but also to get back at him for standing with us back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I answer the question before I leave? And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Please, BX or Afro Lee.
No, just hurry up, please, because I don't want to lose my frame of thought.
Okay, cool. I just going to say, this is my response to this, and I'm just going to end it and then leave with this one thing and be done.
2 minutes. Tight. Structured. When people say disabilities are being used as an excuse for racism, we have to slow that down. First, a disability is not an excuse. It's a medical condition. Tourette's, for example, is neurological. Tics are involuntary. That's not ideology. That's not belief. That's brain wiring. But here's the real tension. Impact still exists. A racial slur doesn't magically lose its historical weight just because the person didn't mean it. The word still carries slavery, segregation, violence. That context doesn't disappear. So the issue isn't disability equals racism. The issue is how society handles collisions between protected categories. We live in a system where disability is protected, race is protected. When those protections clash, people feel like one side is being excused. But what's actually happening most of the time is institutional triage. If intent is medically absent, institutions lean toward accommodation. If intent appears ideological, they lean toward punishment. That's not the same as saying racism is excused. Now, can someone falsely hide behind a diagnosis? Sure, humans manipulate systems. That's not new. But that's fraud, not disability. We have to separate 1, genuine neurological conditions. 2, people weaponizing labels. 3, the emotional reaction to hearing historically violent language. Blurring those categories creates more confusion, not clarity. The mature position is this. You can acknowledge racial harm without accusing someone of moral hatred when the speech is involuntary. Accountability and medical reality can coexist. The real question isn't, are disabilities an excuse? The real question is, how do we build a society that recognizes neurological limits while still honoring the historical weight of language? That's the conversation.
Yeah, and the summary for that, because people always forget that I'm an AI engineer. That's like literally my job and career field, whatever, as I work on my PhD. If these people are basically playing in our face, they don't understand that data is key, right? So these people who the algorithm brings over here with Tourette's, it's an algorithmic thing. HD this whole time has been like, Tourette's, Tourette's, Tourette's. We haven't even been able to talk about the actual prompt because clearly the algorithm brought someone over here with Tourette's. And here we are trying to appease him as if we don't see that he has Tourette's. So anyways, that was my actual point. And yeah, these people are playing in our face and we have to get more strategic or whatever. And I don't care if your feelings are hurt, HD. Anyways, you guys have a great night.
So what was his other outburst?
No back and forth.
You bringing me up?
Thank you, Jasmine. That was pleasantly surprising. I like the fact you pulled up.
What was his other outbursts? What was his other outbursts? Have he had any other outbursts? Nope.
I wanted
Nope.
to call to your attention, Afro Elite. I was about to say Mr. Afro Elite. Mr. Issa, after he finished speaking, he said, "Thank you, Afro, for having me up." But I don't think you caught it because the panel started chiming
Oh,
in
okay.
at the
Yeah,
same
we
time.
appreciate you, Mr. Ether. I appreciate you. And now, and
And I,
real talk, real talk.
Absolutely.
That was very that was a very true statement that you brought up. That some people, I'm not here saying that he doesn't have Tourette's. I'm not saying that. Okay. From what I've looked up, he does have it. However, that does not mean that he can't take advantage of a situation knowing that everybody knows he has Tourette's and be all like, hey, get this. I'ma say it and then I'ma blame it on my Tourette's. That's what has happened. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Yeah. If that,
I'm not saying he don't get Tourette. Okay, he has Tourette's, but that doesn't mean that he can't do stuff, anti-black racist stuff or slurs, and then be all like, well, I do have Tourette's. Wink, wink. You
Exactly.
can't get mad at me. That's what happened.
They ain't never had no other
yeah.
outbursts.
one minute, I didn't finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Ether, and then I'll say the last part because I think it's not going to make Afro Elite chuckle, but I was just reminiscing about something. And he brought up, if you step on somebody's toes, I'm going to say real fast. And I just told Sister Halo in her inbox about New York City fashion. And during the 1980s and 1990s, we were getting robbed for our shearlings, our gazelles, our rope chains, the shoes on our
And why
feet,
was she?
right? And we even had people, if you stepped on their new sneakers, will whoop you out right there on the bus. So when he said, if you step on somebody's feet and then wait till Thursday to apologize, I'm sitting back here like, damn, I just brought this up to Halo and how New Yorkers was getting whooped out if you stepped on somebody's feet. That's all, y'all. It was a New York flashback. I'm sorry, y'all. But
And I
that
want to know,
fashion was
no
so dope.
disrespect, no disrespect, but I mean, no disrespect, but I just want to know why she was able to come up and talk about me, and I wasn't able to give her a rebuttal. She was able to talk about
Okay.
HD.
Well, I'm gonna say this real quick. If I have to, because I am dead set
Who that? I'm
on
not talking to you.
ending this
I'm talking
system.
to I'm talking to Afro.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not
I'm
talking to
talking to
you.
everybody here. I am dead set
But you're not the
on
host. I
Okay.
want to
I'm
know
gonna
why
address
she.
you.
sir.
Let him go. I'm gonna address you. Then we're gonna move on because there's 4 people who haven't spoken yet, and we
Thank you,
can't be
sir.
on all night.
Right. Um, I my mind is dead set on countering the system of white supremacy and replacing it with a system of justice. Okay. I know that we are in the middle of a war. Okay. These people are constantly coming at us in every way, shape, form possible. They will use anything as a weapon. They will use disabled people as a weapon. They will use children as a weapon. They will use puppies and kittens and cute things as a weapon to appeal to our sympathy and our empathy and our humanity. And if I have to shed those things in order for us to defeat this, I will. If I got to stop having sympathy for certain disabled people, I will if I must, because that's my conviction. I'm not going to acquiesce. I'm not going to compromise in the face of all of this. I'm not going to do it. Okay. So you can come at me with all you got. Come at me with everything you got. Okay. I don't care what it is. It's a zero tolerance for me. You're not allowed to use that word. You use it, you're going to face the consequences as long as I got something to say about it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want us to understand. Let me just say this, then I'm gonna get to HQ. Get to your question. Do you guys remember when Netflix a few years ago, it was like 2021 or 2022, I think it was 2022, when Netflix did a special of Jeffrey Dahmer, and in the special, the adaptation, they were trying to give some like story and make it a little bit sympathetic, and they were talking about how like his mom was on medication and there was something neurologically wrong with his brain and all of that. If you guys have seen that, you guys know that. And I did a live stream kind of breaking that down. I want you to understand this system will, anytime you give them medical disability pass, they will take it all the time. all of the time. Well, his mom, his mom had Tylenol, and that's what made him this monster. When he they will take it all of the time and use it all of the time. They will say that about any and everybody. And if we start trying to and I understand people really do have disabilities, which is why I'm not trying to be super harsh, but I understand how disabilities has been used as a shield and a veil behind pure racist intent and actions. Okay. And we can't let that slide, because if you let John slide with what he did, then you're going to have to let the next guy slide for having Tourette's. Then you're going to have to let the next Karen slide. Then you're going to have to let this. Then where do we draw the line? If we say, well, it's really Tourette, so we shouldn't be mad at him, then we can't get mad at the Karen at Starbucks. Then we can't get mad at the police officer who called the black teenager the N-word because he had Tourette's too. You can't get mad at nobody. Then you can't get mad at bipolar people. You can't get mad at people for having anger management. You can't get mad at nobody for nothing. As long as they claim they have a mental issue, then you would have to give them a pass. You see how that works? We can't set that precedent. We can't allow that. Now to your question, HQ, she said something real quick, and I'm not
HD,
trying to
baby.
turn this into a
HD,
thing.
Afro, HD.
HD. I keep saying HQ. I don't know why I keep saying that. She said
It's all
something
good.
real quick about I don't exactly remember, but it was alluding to the fact that you have Tourette's and you felt offended by it, and then got off. And that I didn't know what she was gonna say, but she
No,
got
no,
off. So there was
she basically was being sarcastic, like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
I didn't mean to offend you. I mean, considering you got Tourette's. And I'm like,
Okay.
basically she's saying because the way I'll be spatting off on people and be, so
Okay.
she tried to be sarcastic and say I had it. But that's beside the point. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what people
Well,
do. But
yeah, I didn't know she was gonna say that. It could
yeah.
be. It could be if she comes
Yeah,
back, or
yeah,
maybe she can explain
yeah.
it. But it is maybe she said something. Nobody else really got offended by her analogy, and you
Nah,
got
nah,
offended,
she's being funny. I didn't get
brother.
offended. She was
Okay,
just
well,
being funny.
you were upset by her analogy,
Nah,
and
I just
nobody
cracked
else,
back at it.
brother.
I just
Can
did what I
I
do. It's
gotta
the
go.
internet.
Brother. Okay,
Yeah.
she gave an analogy. You were
Uh-huh.
upset by the analogy. You vocalized that. And you gave a lot of pushback to her. And then she was all like, okay, well, I don't understand why you would be offended unless you might have a disability, and that hit a button
Oh
for
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
touched a
Oh,
nerve.
all right.
So
You
that's why
try.
she
Oh,
was
all
saying
right.
that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
it's
don't
a
really care.
misunderstanding
I
that we're
don't
gonna
really.
move on from.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
really care what she was talking
Okay.
about. I just was worried about the fact she was trying to say I had Tourette's. I don't care what she was saying. I wasn't trying to prove her wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She
All
didn't
right.
come on here to be. She didn't come on here to debate. She just came on here to be triggered. You know.
Mm-hmm. Let's get you Dreadhead Kingpin.
Yo, yo, yo. Peace, everybody. Um, dig this. So I won't speak for too long. I'm just do my submission and then drop. But dig this. This is not a new ploy or a new tactic from the degenerate society. I'm no longer saying the dominant society. I'm gonna say degenerate society. Because if you have to cheat, use fraud, and oppress in order to be the dominant part of society, then you're not really dominant. So I'm gonna say the degenerate society has been using these types of tactics for many years. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can turn on my camera here. Um, see if I can turn it on. Give me 1 second. All right, so if you look here, I did a little quick search just to see who uses like things like the mental insanity defense the most in court, and it looks like at a 26% success rate. It is only used 1% of the time in most cases, but overwhelmingly it is a particular demographic. It's usually YT males that are often middle aged that use the mental insanity defense in court. So that means when people are doing something wrong, the people that are mostly going to use and get away with the mental insanity defense for things that they do that are wrong are YT males. And in a place like Oregon, if you look at the second bullet point here, it says demographics, while some studies suggest women might be more successful due to gender stereotyping and specific crime types, data from places like Oregon shows high 82% YT and 83% male demographic for guilty except for insanity. So that means these people would be found guilty except they were found insane. So this is not a ploy that is new. These people have been using this tactic for many years, and it's plausible deniability because it's hard to prove that someone has a mental, issue that made them commit a crime or do something wrong. It's hard to prove or disprove, right? So this is not a new tactic, and I believe that the gentleman knew exactly what he was doing at the time that he said what he said. The timing was a little too perfect, a little too peculiar, and like someone said, if he could blurt it out at that time, he could also have used his correct mind, his conscious mind, to come out and say I'm sorry in the moment as well. So to quote the sister Zizi, I was in your live earlier. The sister Zizi said that he would not say something that's not in his vocabulary. So what does that mean? That means that this word has to be in his vocabulary somewhere in order for it to be on recall for him to blurt it out at any moment, even if it is through his disability. So for example, if I speak, a certain language, I'm not gonna accidentally blurt out French language words that aren't in my vocabulary because of my Tourette syndrome. And if that word is not in your vocabulary, you're not gonna blurt it out, And I just want to say something now. Delroy Lindo had a movie called The Good Fight. And you're talking about a room full of actors, people who probably know this man's body of work. There's a scene where he actually said to an interviewer that he said, well, I know what word you're talking about, and I know you want to say it, so go ahead and say it. And I feel like this gentleman took this opportunity to respond to Delroy Lindo, even though, that was a scene in a movie. I think that it really struck a chord with a lot of people. I think this gentleman consciously made a decision to respond to that character as Delroy Lindo stood on that stage. He said, I'll say it. I'll say it. And I want to refresh everybody's memory just how that scene goes. I'm going to refresh your memory.
Just pointing out a double standard here, Adrian. I mean, take hip hop. We've talked about this on the show before. You have African American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't.
So say it.
Say what?
Say the word you want to say.
I'm not saying that I want to say it. I'm just saying that I can't.
Sure you can. Say it. Say it right now. I will say it with you.
Okay, this is hypocritical. You know we can't.
Sure you can. This is America. Both of you. Say it.
And I just want to refresh your memory on that. So I think this gentleman took the time out to respond consciously and actually say it, just as Delroy Lindo said in that movie. And I'll land there.
The show. What movie is that? I didn't realize that was a movie thing. Oh, Good Fight. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they don't like that because a lot of them felt humiliated. That's kind of humiliating, putting them in their place, and they don't like that. So he could be carrying a lot of animosity from that too. That's a good point. Also, that is true. I mean, Tourette's, normally when people have Tourette's, their tics are repeated. Their tics may be random, but if they have certain words that they say, normally they say the same words. They don't say words outside of their vocabulary. They don't say words that they don't know. Okay? Like, if somebody has a tick where they just say, I don't know, bird. If they just have a tick when they just say bird, normally they might say bird and then a couple other words, and it always is that. Well, they will just randomly blurt out the word bird, but it's not bird, door, house, planet, car. It's not a different word every time. It's normally the kind of the same, from what I've seen of people with Tourette's, from what my research has shown me, that normally when people have tics, the tics tend to repeat itself. That's why when you watch videos of people who have tics, they kind of do the same tick over and over and over again. It's not no new thing. So unless his tick is the N word with a hard ER, I'm not buying that. And I don't think it is.
Facts. Yeah, you can drop me down, man. I appreciate you bringing me up, man.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Let's get to Rob. And we'll get to Rob, and then we'll get to
Afro, drop me down too, bro. I appreciate y'all, bro. Y'all stay safe, man.
I appreciate you. All right, Rob, you got it.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody pretty much had good points. Hopefully, I'm not repeating too much. My thing is, regardless if it really was a Tourette's accident that he could not control, how come the people that were controlling the show did not censor that like they did when, I'm not going to say the word, but somebody else said something on that show that was censored that went against that platform's, I guess, liking, if you will. But when it came to what that man said, all of a sudden that was broadcast all over the internet for everybody to see. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm gonna put my tinfoil lock cap on for a second, but we got to remember this is the 100th anniversary of foundational Black American history, and it is very convenient. They're over in Europe. These are two Black men, one FBA. We know Delroy is Caribbean, but he pretty much grew up in America. And I would say he is a somebody who rides for us and everything like this. These two guys up here that are representing this movie that represented FBA lineage, culture, and just a phenomenal movie, even if you're not a foundational Black American. And they're up there, and he just so happens to use that word during the 100th year of Black History Month at that time, right when it was silent. It wasn't like they were in the middle of talking and then he just yelled that from the corner somewhere. You could like kind of hear it. That was very clear, as if that was almost planned, like what you were saying, Afro. Like he almost was like, hey, I know I got Tourette's, but watch this. And then he just said it. You know what I mean? But even if that was an accident, why didn't they censor it? They give this little BS apology that wasn't even an apology. And then I forget the sister's name, but there was there was a Black woman that said that same man used that same slur multiple times that night. So it wasn't like he just said it once. So that also kind of complements what we're saying, that this might have been deliberate. This is very suspect. And also, like you said, Afro, even if this was a mistake on his behalf, it is very dangerous to just let this pass and not say nothing, because that opens the door for other people to say, oh, well, I could just say it was my mental illness that made me say it at the grocery store, at the da-da-da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's very dangerous. So yeah, this stuff does need to be talked about and need to be checked. Even I'm saying if with a capital I and a capital F, even if this individual truly just had a Tourette's episode and it just so happened to be that word and it just so happened to be right at that perfect timing, even if that's the case, this is still something that does need to be checked. So anybody that's trying to act like we're being sensitive or we're wrong for talking about this, if they would have used a word towards the small hat community or towards the rainbow community, I don't think people would be just giving this a pass. So yeah, we have every right to speak on this. I'm gonna land my plane.
Yeah, that's very true. And it wouldn't have took him what 3 days afterwards, after everybody and their mama has already talked about it. It's already on TMZ and the Shade Room and everything like that. Everybody's doing takes and breakdowns and all of that stuff. And then he comes out with some, it's not even, I wouldn't even call it a half-ass apology. It was just kind of just a statement about it, to be honest. He didn't even really apologize. If he would have did that to any other community, I'm telling you right now, he'd be sitting up there going to synagogues, donating. He would be going to some type of pride parade and whatever he needed to do to prove how sorry he was, he would be doing that if it was another community. So yeah, I'm like I'm saying, I'm not buying that. Honestly, I'm not. Let's get to Ramon.
Mic check, Afro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, what's up to everybody on the panel? What's up, Afro? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, let me ask a question real quick. This did happen in London, right?
I know it
In
happened in
Europe.
Europe. I'm not sure where in Europe. Maybe London. I don't know. I know
Okay,
it was over there though.
okay. So, to be clear,
The UK.
you
Okay.
know what I mean? Yeah, UK. Pretty much, that's the motherland for a lot of these peckerwoods that's here in America. Peckerwood supremacists here in America. That's their motherland. So I'm saying? So we shouldn't be surprised by this, but was it a disability? No. And what Mr. Ether brought up, I was just going the situation we brought up with that young man that happened years ago, a couple years back, they had a mental disability, they locked him up. I was gonna bring that up. I'm glad Mr. Ether brought that up. And what ZZ said too. You know what I'm saying? I got to roll with what she said, how basically they plan this. They was all in it. They was all in it. They always involved in it. I don't want to hear nothing about no networks, this and that. They was all involved in that. Typical Peckerwood supremacy is what this was. That's all it was. And I don't think the dude even had no disability as far as I'm concerned. Because if he really had a disability, he would have been walking down the hallway seeing a couple of melanated people and let that ride. And he would have got dealt with the way he supposed to. See what I'm saying? So no, I'm not digging that. It wasn't no
Yeah, that
disability.
too.
Typical Peckerwood supremacy is what this was. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's the way we need to see it. All of them was in on it. The network, the people working at the place, even the janitors was in on it, as far as I'm concerned. It was all a plan, man. And it might be linked to that movie, like or I thought it was a news clip myself that was an actual movie, from what I'm understanding. It might have been linked to that. Either way, they was all in on it. I don't want to hear nothing about no disabilities or nothing like that. I mean, I get the question, like it's good to question, but we all know that man, they had no disability. That was just a weird looking peckerwood. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, give him the business. Don't slack up on him. And he knew to say that at a safe place where he felt safe at. He wouldn't go to the Source Awards and say nothing like that because he know he would have got stomped out immediately. Know what I mean? And I'm just using the Source Awards as an example, as a place where there's a lot of black presence at. So landing my plane, I just say he didn't have no disability. This is typical Peckerwood supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we should look at it. And I'm gonna land my plane, Afro. Thanks for having me up, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna add this, right? I don't think it was an accident. I don't think it was an accident, whether he does or doesn't, or whatever the case is. They're saying that he does. We don't. I'm not gonna say he doesn't, but I'm gonna say I don't think that incident was an episode. I don't think he had an episode right then. Do you understand that when it comes to these events, especially when you have two people up there, and the fact that Michael and Delroy, this is how I know it was planned, right? When Michael and Delroy are up there, both of them have to say certain lines, and then they have to pause and wait for the other person to speak. So that pause is deliberate to make sure they don't speak in front of each other, to make sure that one person doesn't talk while the other person is talking. So Michael said something like he's glad to be here, something of the sort, and he paused. And then there was Delroy was supposed to speak. Do you know the studio or the production, they know when the pause goes on. So Davidson had to have known when Michael was going to stop speaking in order for him to say that. Because he didn't say it when Michael was speaking, and he didn't say it when Delroy was speaking. It was that perfect 2-3 second pause. The pause is only for a couple seconds. It was that perfect pause where he could blurt it out and it could be loud and clear. The room was silent, waiting for the next person to speak. That perfect silence where he could blurt it out real quick. You only have a small window of opportunity. You got a small split second to say that. That pause and everything, it was too perfectly timed. It was too on the nose. No, I'm no. I'm not no idiot. No, I'm no. Just no.
Yeah, and not only that, Delroy and Michael was presenting the first prize. So they did that at the beginning. He did that at the beginning of the night. And they didn't come out with that. The host didn't come out with a BS apology until the end of the night. Saying, yeah, and it wasn't even a real apology. It was just like, yeah, I'm sorry if you were offended, even though they knew exactly who they were offending or who he was offending. So yeah, it was intentional for sure.
And notice the host didn't even apologize to Michael. He didn't apologize to
Right.
Michael and Delroy. He apologized to the audience who may have been offended by hearing it.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Too much money and too much time and too much planning goes into these things for it to have just been an accident. Perfectly timed coincidences. We didn't hear anything else after that. We didn't hear anything before that. And then they still aired it and everything like that. Everything was intentional about this. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Let's get to this next speaker up here. Let's get to the moon.
What up, family?
How you doing?
Man, it's a pleasure to be, on the live with everyone. Thank you for allowing me up, Afro and ZZ, BX. I just wanted to bring something up to everyone. In the UK, they were locking people up for silently praying on the streets. But you're gonna tell me that they allowed this man to do this and there was no repercussions for this? This is crazy, y'all.
Mm-hmm. It is. There's nothing like no consequences at all. And this is why we gotta make it abundantly clear when it comes to black people who have Tourette's. Trust me, my heart goes out to you. I sympathize. I would hate to have that condition. All right. I really would. I can't relate to it. I would hate to have that condition, and I sympathize with that. I'm not trying to be cold-hearted or anything like that, but I'm seeing way too many. There was like 2 or 3. I'm seeing way too many black people with Tourette's being all like, y'all don't understand. You can't control your tics. Sometimes y'all need to not do that. Every time there's a moment of racism, you always have somebody some black person, they'll have a black mascot whose intersectional identity can come there and be the shield or defense for them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's a person with disabilities, whether that's a person from the alphabet community, whether that's you know what I'm saying? They always will have somebody whose intersectional identity, a black person whose intersectional identity can be used as a mascot and a shield for them. And I need black people with disabilities not to do that. Okay? Do not do that. You got to put your blackness first in this situation. First off, see through this BS anyway. Okay? There's too many y'all don't get caught up in your feelings thinking that this was a real accident anyway. Y'all need to see through that. With somebody who actually has disabilities, y'all should be the first people to call this out, honestly. Y'all shouldn't be sitting up there carrying water for nobody. And then having us have to go through you. See, that's the problem why it's so hard to really hold people accountable. Because every time the community tries to hold somebody accountable, there's always somebody we got to go through. There's always some black person being like, well, guys, I'm not offended. You guys got to understand. Y'all got to contact. Like, we always got to go through people to hold the person accountable. We got to stop that. Y'all need to not be mascots, for real.
Are we sure this wasn't scripted?
And honestly, because the other way, it's not going to work the other way around. These white tees and that's also disabled or these other quote unquote minority groups, they don't show the same support when it's the other way around. Had that been a black man with Tourette's and he got up there and said the K word, You think them Jews would have gave a damn about them damn Tourettes? What are we talking about?
ZZ,
Do we?
you gotta say small hats. You gotta say small
Well, you
hats.
think the people? Do you think the people would have been like? Let's be honest. The whole narrative would have changed. So let's be real. It's because it's us that it's acceptable that people are trying to make excuses for it. But if it was the other way around, it's never going to be the same. They never
Yep.
played that way.
Are we sure that this
Also,
wasn't scripted? That they did this on purpose?
it might have
Like
been.
everybody was saying, like it was just quiet and like, man, this could have all been scripted. Just
I
this is
want.
Hollywood, y'all.
Yeah, it could have been, but the thing is that I don't know, because ever since the movie Sinners has come out, they've been trying to put Michael, Ryan Coogler, and pretty much all of the cast through this humbling ritual.
Right.
Where
It
it's
could have
like
been
everywhere
scripted
they
to
go,
be humbling.
they're always trying to check them. They're always trying to like do some type of humbling of Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler and everybody else. If you notice that, there's always some y'all think y'all too like they treating them like they're trying to make them not uppity Negroes. That's the vibe that I'm
Remember,
getting. You know,
Yeah.
remember
Bring 'em back
when they
down.
called the police on Ryan Coogler while he was at the bank, and the police and they put him in handcuffs and everything over there. Somebody in Atlanta at an Atlanta bank called the police, and they pulled out their firearm and everything like that to arrest him. They do little things like that. But I also wanted to add in that, remember, the dominant society, they're the ones who actually don't really have sympathy for disabled people themselves. They have created slurs and derogatory words for people with disabilities, including
yeah,
the R word.
that's
Okay,
true.
absolutely. And they have a history of bullying people with disability, mistreating them, beating them up, or even purging them from their society. So we got to understand the type of people that we're dealing with. They know that we have the sympathy that they lack, and they are fully willing to use it against us.
That's true. That's very true. All right, let's get to Diana, and then we'll wrap it up. Then we'll wrap things up.
Drop me down, family. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate you, bro.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, I just recently entered into the stream, and I can completely hear what you're saying. I mean, Kanye West also technically has a disability. He's bipolar, which is also like a neurological disorder. And I don't recall him being given all this grace and empathy when
That's
he
that
had
man.
his
That's
outbursts.
That's a
that's
fact.
the truth. That's the truth.
I mean, I'm not defending him at all, but I'm just saying
But
it's
yeah,
just
you're right. I mean, they drag him like he doesn't have a disability. Now, when it comes to one of them and they do something offensive against us, it's all this grace is supposed to be given, all of this understanding, all of this nuance that we're supposed to discover. We're not supposed to really get that mad. They don't do that with Kanye at all.
Nope.
no.
They don't do that with Kanye at all.
Cancel him quick.
So that's a good example. I'm glad you brought that up. You
Yeah.
know, when anytime a black person has disabilities, any type of disability, you are still hold to the same exact standard. The standard has not moved. You are hold to the exact standard, and you will be punished, and the consequences will be dealt with the exact same. It's only when it comes to them doing something to us, then it's all like, well, you know, it's Tourette's. What can you do? That's, you know, so no, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, it's just insane how like black disabled people aren't ever given the same sort of grace that, they're given.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate that. Well, ZZ, any closing words?
Closing words. Definitely. This was intentional, man. I think it was intentional from the dude and intentional on behalf of the award show for sure. And it was clearly disrespectful. They did this on Black History Month. It should not be excused, period. I'm sorry. I understand disabilities, but again, just like the sister just gave a great example, we don't get that same grace. So he should be held accountable. I'm sorry. I'm not giving grace, especially on Black History Month. You're not about to disrespect two brothers who've been on code, doing the right thing, just came off the height of that great movie last year that exemplified black culture We're not going to do that. So yeah, we know what these people do. They don't like taking L's. They don't like to see us successful. They don't like us continuously being successful as these two brothers have been. And Michael B. Jordan more so because he's actually FBA. But Michael B. Jordan, damn near every movie he's been in the last, 5-6 years has been successful, to be honest, have been big movies. So yeah, they always going to try to find a way to humble us, to try to bring us back to earth because they don't feel like we need to be above. They feel like we below already. So they want to bring us not only to earth, but underneath it. So yeah, we have to be careful of that. But shout out to the panel, shout out to the chat. Thanks for the gifts. Good conversation.
Yeah, this is. And my thing is that we have to understand the precedent that this sets. That's the whole reason why we're doing this live. Okay?
Right.
The precedent that this sets. When we start giving passes, when we give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. If we excuse this one time, then we're going to have to excuse the other thing the other time. Then we have to, well, he had a mental breakdown. Will Smith didn't get that pass.
Mm-hmm.
They banned that man from the mental breakdown be damned. Okay. Kanye West, bipolar. I don't know what that means. That when it comes to anything a black person does, any type of a black person can snap, a black person can have a mental breakdown. Even if it's a kid, y'all, they don't have mercy on children. They will make a child with disabilities. Pretty much they act like that child is an adult. They treat black children with disabilities worse than they treat black children who don't get disabilities sometimes. So, man, no, we're not going to do. First off, I don't buy that this was an accident. This was too perfectly set up for it to be that way. Okay. To me, this is following the pattern that pretty much everywhere the Sinners crew goes, they try to humiliate them and they try to humble them. Okay, everywhere they went, we were talking about that a few months ago when they gave the award to Tommy some what's his name? I forget his name. They gave it to that other guy, Thomas something, right? And people are like, oh, he's way better actor than Michael B. Jordan. All of this humbling and this trying to embarrass the crew. This is following the same trend. And I'm not up. Would you say what?
Was it Timothy Chalamet? That's what you're talking about?
Timothy Chalamet, right? I'm not up. To be honest, that was more than likely what I'm of the opinion of is that that's the reason they invited them there in the first place.
Yeah.
They probably invited them there in the first place.
For sure.
I want you to keep this in mind. Ryan Coogler got an award that night. And more people are talking about this situation than Ryan Coogler's award. So they probably set him up like, hey, if y'all come over here, we got this. We love the Sinners movie. We got an award for you. Come over here and y'all come through and we going to give you this award. It's going to be all nice and grand. And then, gotcha. It's a prank. Going to call you the N-word in front of live television is that.
Yep. Oh, I also have a theory too.
What is that?
I just found out that the person who's actually in charge of BAFTA, which is the award show, is Prince William. So maybe this whole controversy was like a way to distract the public from Prince Andrew's whole like Epstein thing.
Can't put it past them.
Yeah.
Can't put it past them. We don't. What I'm not gonna do, despite all of the theories and all that, I got some. Everybody got some. What we're not gonna do is give this dude a pass. Okay. And if he does, he shouldn't be allowed at events. If he has Tourette's so bad where he randomly screams out racial slurs, then he shouldn't be around people in public events like that. He should only be out in controlled environments. I want you to, if you have a disability, which causes you, if you have PTSD, which some people really do have, and I've actually worked with people. I've worked with people in centers that have PTSD. If they have PTSD and it makes them go incredibly violent and just snap and they fight everybody, they don't put them out in the public because anything can trigger their PTSD. And next thing you know, they're throwing knives and they're fighting people. All right. They have to be sanctioned off because they can't control themselves. If his Tourette's is that bad where he just blurts out the N-word and he can't help himself, he doesn't need to be around anybody, especially no black people. And I'm gonna also add this. Black people don't need to show up at the BAFTA awards anymore. Because if black people, clearly by this incident, if black people's sanity and dignity is not protected, and it wasn't, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, their dignity was not protected at the BAFTA Awards. Clearly, black people are not protected. Our mental health is not protected. Damn near our physical health, because who knows what's going to happen next. If it's not protected, we don't need to be there then. That's where I stand on it. And y'all need to go to For the Culture on YouTube. Go to For the Culture on YouTube. I think this was a pretty interesting dialogue and conversation. So go to For the Culture on YouTube so you guys don't miss out. Go to For the Culture. That way you guys can see this and the playbacks of all of the other stuff we got on that channel. All right. So, BX, can you close us out?
Oh, you didn't take the question away from me tonight. Afro, when are you coming back live on TikTok?
I kind of want to maybe Thursday. Probably not tomorrow. I got some stuff tomorrow, so maybe Thursday.
Okay, that's fine. ZZ, I was trying to tell you, I had added you, and I put up the little googly eyes and the little heart face to tell you that hair is fire. I like that look on
Thank
you.
you, darling.
You're welcome. So I want to say this: white tea folks are white tea folking today, right? Ever since that happened, and then the New York incident, and it's like, every now and then they like us to think. Remember when they used to tell us it's post-racial, and then boom, Obama got in office, and then all the monkey images started coming up and stuff like that. I think that just for the most part, racism will never unalive out. There'll always be people that'll do things like this. But did the gentleman speak? Did Michael B. Jordan speak and Delroy Lindo? Did they give their feelings on the whole incident yet?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen them do that.
I wonder how they're going to go about it. They look like they handled it very well. I might have crashed out and tell them I don't give a F about no damn thing. But they really stood there, and I don't think they're weak. From the highlights I seen, people be like, how they just stand there like that? But they were very well composed, and I just want to see what is their insight, because I know for a fact Delroy Lindo, like ZZ said, told the white tea man, well, say it then about the N-word. So that'd be interesting to have an update on how they felt in that moment and how they're going to move forward. And if they might even call a boycott to BAFTA. Who knows if they even decide to go back over there. That might be one thing we can do. Love and Life, our sister Love and Life says we shouldn't even be going to their shows. And so here's the time where we have to make our own BET, our own award shows, because we're always going to do things, not we, but we're always going to have to face things like that from them other folks. And that's it. I just want to say love, peace, light, and reparations to my foundational Black Americans and anybody of the lineage who could identify as such. I love us for real.